In my last video talking about different types of tire sizes and going off-road with your road with different types of tire sizes, I talked a little bit about my gravel bike setup. I figured that maybe some of you might be interested in what that actually is, so in this video I'm going to show you how I have my Apollo set up for going and doing some off-road riding. Considering the Apollo is my commuter bike, it kind of has to handle quite a few different jobs. During the winter months, when it's nice and wet and cold and rainy and everything sucks in general, it's got fenders on it with smaller road tires. It's pretty boring to look at. But today, I have taken the fenders off, put the 38mm tires back on, and actually there's quite a few different changes from the first time I showed you my Apollo in my first video. Of course you know from my first video that the Apollo is in fact a hybrid that I converted into a drop bar bike. It still has the Apollo Exceed 20 frame set, which is just an aluminum bike with a non-tapered head tube, threaded bottom bracket, external cable routing, and posts for canty brakes. That carbon fork that's on there came off of Jameis. It used to be white and red, but it was sprayed black to look a little bit better. And of course it has canty brakes. If there's anything that I could say that I dislike about this bike is the fact that it has canty brakes, and it'd be nice to have some discs. The main difference that you're probably going to notice is the fact that I swapped out the drivetrain, which was a single 38 tooth with an 1125, to a full 10-speed cyclocross gearing setup. So on there now is old SRAM Rival 10-speed shifters that I had to rebuild the right side of, with a SRAM Rival 10-speed rear derailleur and a SRAM Rival front derailleur. The crankset is a FSA Gossamer from ages ago that I threw some 46-36 chain rings that I had laying around on. On it right now is an 11 through 28 cassette, but that might get changed out depending on where I might go riding and depending on the elevation that I'm thinking about going to do. I've thrown some felt wheels from my F5 on there because they were available. They're just a set of felt hubs laced to a CXP22 from Mavic. Super strong wheel, they're new, so they're probably going to see a lot of abuse this year, and I imagine that they'll get beat up pretty bad. That's kind of the price you pay for taking a road bike off-road, but the saving grace for those wheels is going to be the tires that I run. And those, of course, are the tires that I raved about in my last video, talking about different tire sizes and their place in the world of gravel riding. And those are 38mm Panaracer Pacellas. I pretty much exclusively ride these when it comes to any sort of gravel events. Unless I know that it's going to be pretty muddy or a really mucky event, then maybe I'll throw on the Schwalbe Rapid Rods that I do have. But any sort of last minute gravel riding that I do, I will do it all on those Panaracer Pacellas. They totally handle everything fine. They're super comfortable. I can ride low pressure on them. Another thing that I do that's specific to this bike only compared to the rest of my bikes is I run double wrap tape on the flats. And yeah, that's pretty much the setup. I mean, it's really not all that different than what my cross setup was like, other than a double instead of a single ring drivetrain and some really big tires. If there's anything that my social media tells me, it's that you guys love gravel riding or taking road bikes off-road just as much as I do. So thanks for hanging out with me during this video. I hope that gave you some insight onto what I ride and what you can do with the bike that you've got right now, along with the last video that I made talking about different tire sizes and what you could maybe do with them on off-road situations.